I posted a photo yesterday and the caption read, "It's more important what you think of yourself than what others think of you." But how do you achieve this state of not giving a fuck while maintaining compassion and being empathetic towards people, which I would argue, and I did argue, that that's actually the key in order to let go of what others' perceptions are of you, and I'm going to explain why. The premise underneath the caption in the text was that if you are a hypercritical or a hyper-judgmental person, that is going to become weaponized and it's going to eventually turn on you. Evolutionarily speaking, we are an error-focused creature, and we look for pitfalls, mishaps, where things can go wrong, and that helped us survive in the past when food, water, and shelter were scarce. And I'm not saying that doesn't afflict people today. Obviously, there's homelessness, but by and large, the majority of people, especially in the West, are far better off than they used to be when times were, about surviving just the day. And this error focus, because we don't need it anymore, we tend to turn it on other people and their supposed faults, and we magnify that into a ginormous proportion so that we look to see what people are doing wrong, how they're doing it wrong, and then we either complain about it or we let it drain our energy. And what will happen in the premise that I'm putting forth is that after a while, that lens eventually will turn on you. And when it turns on you, it's going to create distrust and self-sabotage. And the reason for that might be because, and this is borrowing from yogic philosophy, a lot of the things that irritate you about other people might be the same thing that is reflecting back at you, something that irritates you about yourself. It could be something like perhaps someone is always butting into the conversation and they're always cutting people off, and you are angry about that. And you voice your opinion about that, like saying, this person always does that, or this person is always like this. Now, that could be that you do exactly the same thing, or it could be the opposite end of the spectrum in a different severity. Perhaps you never speak up when you have something to say. And it's the same type of reflection, but just inverted, and it's back at you. And not only that, but it'll be unconscious, meaning you won't even be aware of it. And that is a problem, especially if you want to get to the state of where you don't care what other people think. Then step number one is stop being judgmental, because by offering or by weaponizing your judgment constantly, you're really noticing things about yourself that you have yet to fix or you have yet to acknowledge. Step number two, or I guess advice number two, and this is borrowing from the yogic philosophy, the idea that everyone you meet is doing the best that they can with what they have, and that includes you. So the next time these feelings of judgment and criticism start to arise, and it's unwieldy, meaning it's just an unconscious automatic response without you even taking into account what that other person is experiencing, you might ask the question, be like, is this person going through something, or is this person doing the best that they can while they're going through something? It might give you a little bit of pause, make you more empathetic, and not so quick to cast judgment on the person. The other trick that you can do that might be beneficial, and again, borrowing a little bit from yogic philosophy / Jungian psychology, is that statements like, this is just who I am, or statements like, that is what they're going to do because that is who they are, puts you in a box and it limits you, because the reality is that isn't the case. If you make statements like that, it's going to be very difficult for you to let go of what other people think of you, because obviously you've stagnated yourself into saying, I can never grow, or if I do grow, it's going to grow in this direction. The reality is that you are the very thing that can transform at any given moment, at any given time, and so is the person in front of you. So just realize that, and hopefully it will help rein in that judgment, that weaponized canon of criticism towards one another. And that way, you can truly not give a fuck what other people think, but you can give a fuck about what they're going through and be compassionate and empathetic, and it'll free you up rather than bind you up. So, yep, that's it. I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Peace.